to have a limited number of supporters attending their home matches. Let me make it absolutely clear, Madam Deputy Chairman, at the outset, that in putting forward the case to allow spectators, I do so with the intention of that happening after the lifting of the present restrictions. I wish to inform the thinking of the Minister so that when the easing of the restrictions does take place, I hope that very serious consideration will be given to opening up football stadiums too, in a limited manner and provided proper social distancing and safety measures are implemented. Earlier this year, following the lockdown, pubs, restaurants, clubs and cafes and other venues were opened up after the period of the lockdown, but football stadiums were not. This time around, I hope it will be different, and I would like to put forward some reasons as to why I believe that should be so, with specific reference to Peterborough United FC, affectionately known as Posh, and who I have the privilege of having in my constituency of North West Cambridgeshire, which has in it some 40% of the total population covered by Peterborough City Council. The club was formed in 1934, and after winning the Midland League title for 5 consecutive seasons, they were elected to the Football League in 1960. Currently, the club are at the top of League One. The story behind the name Posh is an interesting one. Although the present club dates back to 1934, the Posh name first came to the fore over a decade earlier, almost certainly coming from Pat Tyrrell, who was player-manager of Fletton United, who were previous users of the present club's London Road ground. Pat announced at the end of the 1921 season that he was looking for posh players for a posh team to compete in the Northamptonshire League, which subsequently became the United Counties League. Fletton United had previously been known as the Brickies, and they reformed as Peterborough and Fletton United in 1923. And both nicknames were in use throughout the 1920s. Following the demise of Peterborough and Fletton United in 1932, the present club was formed 2 years later. There then followed a Midland League debut against Gainsborough Trinity on 1st September 1934, and this was greeted with the shouts of "Up the Posh" from the spectators. The current owners of the club, Darragh McAntony, who is also chairman of the club, along with Jason Neal and Stuart Thompson, are totally committed to Posh, as are the manager, Darren Ferguson, and Chief Executive Officer, Bob Sims, and Director of Football, Barry Fry. The city of Peterborough and surrounding area benefits economically and socially from the club's continued success, drawing in millions of pounds of revenue every year, helping local tourism and making a huge contribution through the Peterborough United Foundation. It is not surprising, therefore, that the club enjoys the support of Peterborough City Council. Incidentally, Madam Deputy Speaker, the leader of Peterborough City Council, Councillor John Holditch, is retiring next year after over 40 years of public service. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Holditch for his outstanding dedication and commitment to the city and the surrounding area. And I wish him and his wife Barbara much happiness following his retirement. The Covid-19 pandemic has been a massive challenge for all of us, and it has also resulted in an unprecedented challenge for all football clubs. Of course, many other sports have also been affected, but I am confining my comments today to football and specifically to Posh. As we move forward, Madam Deputy Speaker, and in anticipation of an easing of restrictions, Posh's CEO, Bob Sims, and his team have put in an enormous amount of work to make preparations for a return to socially distanced competition at the Western Home Stadium where the club plays. The plans are intensely thorough and very detailed, covering all aspects as to how the stadium would operate on match days with a reduced crowd and working on the basis of ensuring maximum safety for all concerned. The stadium covers some 5 acres and has a maximum capacity for 15,000 spectators. But the club seeks permission to make provision for only 4,000 of its followers, and they are all season ticket holders. In the event that any one of those individuals needs to be contacted, for example for test and trace purposes, the club has everyone's contact details, mobile numbers, email addresses, and so on. As for the preparations, entry and departure to and from the stadium would be staggered. Every seat, every space and in and around the ground and the stadium has been accounted for on a socially distanced basis. There is provision for single spectators, those arriving 2s, 3s, and so on. There is plenty of signage along with plenty of hand sanitizer stations, and there are unique protocols and procedures for the various different areas and facilities. These include the entrance and the exit points, home and away dressing rooms, the players' tunnel, areas for media, catering, areas for parking of cars, turnstiles, the ticket office. The list goes on. There will be full deep cleaning of the stadium, including benches, control room, staff areas, media places, and the like. These deep cleans will take place prior to each match day and at the end of each match day. And there will also be ongoing cleaning of some areas between fixtures, such as toilets, entrances, door handles, and light switches. Madam Deputy Speaker, as one would expect in such circumstances, the club has made risk assessments, put in place contingency plans, provided for the proper training of staff, and ensured that there is an effective communication procedure and system. No detail has been overlooked, and that point is clearly made when I say that during matches there will be 8 people whose sole responsibility will be to make sure that the balls used during the match are properly sanitised. And of course, if you're going to do a proper job, then it almost goes without saying that the corner flags and the goalposts will also be thoroughly sanitised. As well as all these safety measures, one crucial point, which I very much hope the Minister will take on board, is that unlike many other types of venues which were previously allowed to open to the public, Posh's Stadium and the football stadiums generally around the country are in the open air, and therefore they are that much more safe for fans and for all others attending. In its preparations, the club has also worked very closely with other stakeholders. These include the Sports Ground Safety Authority, the Safety Advisory Group, the local fire and police services, and the medical providers, including the ambulance service. Having read and considered the proposals, and after several conversations with Mr. Sims, I can truly say that I believe that Peterborough United FC has provided a template that can be safely used by any club throughout the country. Let me also add that when speaking with Mr. Darren McAnthony, he assured me of his total determination to do whatever it takes to ensure that safety guidelines are adhered to, that the safety of everyone is of paramount importance on match days and more generally. Moreover, Darren Ferguson, the club manager, also made it clear to me that he and all the players are totally committed to making this work. During training sessions, rigorous measures are taken to ensure compliance with safety rules, and all the players are fully aware of their own responsibility in making sure that the message of health and safety and social distancing is effectively conveyed and adhered to by all the fans attending. My honourable friend will also appreciate that currently there is no income for Posh and for many other clubs, and it is therefore absolutely vital that they are allowed to generate some much needed revenue after such a long period without money coming in. One aspect of the club's work that doesn't receive as much attention as it ought to is the work carried out by Peterborough United Foundation, which makes a real and positive difference to the wider community. The values of the foundation are, and I quote, to ensure opportunities for everyone, regardless of age, gender, ethnicity or ability. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, its activities are centred around 4 themes: sports participation, social inclusion and community cohesion, health and education. The Foundation's activities include a school sports programme with after-school clubs and PE lessons, currently working with some 13 primary schools and delivering each week to around 1,000 children. Another programme involves going into schools and helping the development of teachers delivering PE, as well as helping children to gain important life skills, using 4 particular themes: to be ambitious, to be inspiring, to be fair, and to be connected. There is, of course, a Peterborough United ladies team, as well as opportunities for girls who have experience of playing football to gain even more training at the Peterborough United Girls Elite and Development Centre. There is also a programme for girls aged 11 plus, the majority of whom have not played football or taken part in much physical activity before. These girls and women come from a variety of backgrounds and abilities, and the Foundation seeks to provide them with as many opportunities as possible to be able to participate in football. The Disability Coaching Programme covers both school and out-of-school sessions, and the Foundation supports an adult deaf team that competes in the English Deaf League South Division, as well as providing coaching sessions for children who are deaf and hearing impaired. There is more, Madam Deputy Speaker. There is support for an adult amputee team, which competes in the English Amputee Football League. There are healthy kicking days too. Children take part in activities that teach them how to keep healthy and active, and what foods to eat to maintain a healthy diet. Enterprise days are hugely popular, providing children with an opportunity to meet and work with many other children from different schools who they wouldn't normally see. There is a local organisation called Locate Accommodation, which helps refugees who come to Peterborough, and the Foundation offers football sessions to them over the summer holidays. Madam Deputy Speaker, let it not be said that there isn't provision for all age groups, because there is. There is walking football, and the sessions are for participants of any age and are ideal for those who wish to continue playing football, but in a more relaxed, non-competitive and non-contact manner. Opening up the club to spectators, even in a limited way, would also serve another very important purpose. It would allow the club to celebrate the life of Tommy Robson and his contribution to Posh and the city. Last month, very sadly, Tommy passed away. He was a much-loved and admired Posh legend, and the first player to be inducted in the club's Hall of Fame. Tommy played for Northampton Town, Chelsea and Newcastle United, before signing for Posh in 1968 for a transfer fee of £20,000. He made 482 league appearances for the club and was twice named Player of the Season. Tommy later dedicated much of his working life to the city, and earlier this year was awarded the Freedom of the City. Councillor Peter Hiller tabled a motion for Tommy's award and said, "Tommy is without doubt one of, if not the most loved players ever to grace the pitch at London Road." The club has started a campaign to raise funds to erect a bronze statue of Tommy outside the club grounds. This would join a statue of Chris Turner, which already stands outside the stadium, Chris having been a former player, manager and chairman of the club. Tommy's son Ian said that his father had an awful lot of love for the city, and clearly the people loved him. Tommy's daughter Anita added, "I always knew he was a special man, but to realise he was special to everyone up and down the country has been absolutely amazing." And chairman of the Posh Supporters Trust, Marco Graziano, has spoken of the chance for fans to pay their respects to Tommy inside the stadium. Madam Deputy Speaker, when the present restrictions are eased and restaurants, pubs, cafes, theatres, shops and a whole variety of places are opened up again, I very much hope that the Minister, who is not only a colleague but also a very good friend of mine and for whom I have a huge amount of respect, I very much hope that he will give serious thought to the points that I've made today, and especially to the point that unlike many other venues, football stadiums and the grounds where Posh play are in an open area without any closed roofs or ceilings. And I hope that he will appreciate that that helps towards enhancing safety measures. Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to invite the Minister to come to the Posh Stadium himself, bring along his advisors and his civil servants, so that he can personally see what measures have been put in place. He can himself challenge and ask Mr. Sims and others if he has any concerns. But above all, he can come and see the enormous work that has been put in place to ensure that Posh players can play safely and spectators can come and enjoy watching the matches. Thank you.
Minister, Mr. Nigel Huddle.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'm very grateful to my honourable friend from North West Cambridgeshire for tabling this debate and for the contributions he has made towards this really important topic today. Now, football clubs such as Peterborough United are vital parts of their communities. They have unique social value and enjoy rich histories, and my honourable friend is a fantastic advocate for his club. I know this well. We have spoken about football and in particular about Peterborough United on many occasions. May I say immediately that I would be very keen indeed to take up his invitation to come and visit him in his constituency and visit the club. And he outlined in incredibly forensic detail the many measures that his club and other clubs across the country have indeed taken in order to prepare for the safe opening of stadia as soon as we're able to do so. And I really appreciate his attention to detail in outlining the case there. Now, the Posh, or Posh as they are affectionately known, have been a mainstay of English football for over 85 years. They have a very proud history, as my honourable friend has articulated, and of course have very strong grounds to be optimistic about their future as well. Peterborough, of course, unlucky to miss out on the playoffs last year, but with them currently occupying the top position in League One, this season looks pretty positive for them. And I hope that this good form continues, and I wish them the very best of luck for the rest of the campaign. Now, as well as the team's success on the pitch, the Peterborough United Foundation, as the Honourable Member has mentioned, has undertaken incredible work off the pitch for many years now. I think it was first founded in 2009. The Honourable Member mentioned many of the activities of the foundation, and I was particularly impressed with all the work mentioned on access, helping disabled, helping the elderly, and of course women and girls, which is a passion of mine, through its Girls Elite and Development Centre, and also by supporting the Premier League Primary Stars programme to create a healthier and more positive future for the country's children. The club and the foundation have also really stepped up to the plate during coronavirus to help the city during these incredibly difficult times by sending care packages to vulnerable fans across Peterborough and the surrounding areas. And this is yet another great example of football clubs demonstrating their importance to the local communities. In this place over the last few weeks, we've talked a lot about the role of rugby in their communities, and perhaps we should not overlook the important role that football and football clubs play as well. Now, the government has provided unprecedented support to businesses throughout this difficult period, including a comprehensive and sizable package of direct fiscal support. Many football clubs have benefited from these measures, such as the business rates relief and the furlough scheme, and Sport England has also provided £210 million of National Lottery and government funding to support the sector through Covid-19, and this includes £35 million Community Emergency Fund, which is helping community clubs and exercise centres during the pandemic. The Football Foundation, a charity set up by the government, the FA and the Premier League, has introduced a number of funds also to help clubs. The latest is the Matchday Support Fund, helping clubs to prepare for the resumption of football. Now, I do completely understand the importance of getting fans back into sports stadia. The Honourable Member talked passionately about this, as have many other members here over the last few weeks. But rising infection rates across the country meant that, unfortunately, it was not the right time to proceed with a wider reopening on the 1st of October as we had planned. The government understands the financial consequences of this decision and is focusing our support on those in the sector most in need as a result, and DCMS is working closely with the Treasury to confirm a support package, and we will set out further details in due course. In addition to this, the government recently brokered a unique deal with the National Lottery, which has provided £10 million in funding for the 66 clubs in the National League so that they can continue to play behind closed doors. And of course, the EFL is currently in discussions with the Premier League about a support package, and I am hopeful and optimistic that those discussions will come to a positive conclusion very shortly. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are absolutely committed to getting spectators back into stadia as soon as it is safe to do so. We'll continue to work closely with a whole range of sports to understand the latest thinking that might allow spectators to return. The government has invited the Sports Technology Innovation Group, or STIG for short, to analyse new technologies which might support the return of spectators, and I spoke to the chair of this group this week, as did the Secretary of State, and we heard about the vital work they are undertaking, which will help get spectators back in stadia as soon as possible. We've made significant progress since the start of the pandemic. We work closely with the sector to bring elite athletes back into training before returning competitive sport behind closed doors. We welcomed international athletes with health protocols that helped isolate the competitors and set out detailed and stringent guidance for the safe return of spectators. And the return of spectators was also successfully tested through the staging of pilot events over the summer, but these plans regrettably had to be paused as the virus was spreading. Rest assured, I understand the importance of pressing play on our plans and how unfortunate that was, but we will return to these plans as soon as we can. We press the pause button. We intend to return as soon as possible. Before I conclude, Madam Deputy Speaker, and the Honourable Member for Strangford is strangely not in his place this evening, but I would like to take the opportunity to wish Northern Ireland and Scotland good luck in their Euro 2020 playoff matches tonight. Northern Ireland versus Slovakia and Scotland versus Serbia kick off at 7:45 p.m. I'm sure many will be watching. Now, I'm grateful for today's wide-ranging discussion about a subject that is close to my heart, many hearts here, and, of course, many of our constituents. And I wish to conclude by confirming that the government is absolutely committed to continuing to support the sports sector and getting spectators back into stadia as soon as it is safe to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. The question is that this House do now adjourn. As matters that opinion, say aye.
Aye.
Of the contrary, no, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Order! Order!